Hello guys, welcome back to Jonathan's channel. It's me today, just talking with you about my 1 year carnivore journey, kind of going from the very beginning when I started my fat loss, way back in May 2020, all the way to now. So I haven't been carnivore the whole time. Disclaimer, I'm not a strict carnivore. Don't need that in the comments, it's okay. Back in May 2020, I looked like this. This was my heaviest or my worst, as some people say. And what kicked off losing the weight? Obviously, I was sick of looking like that. Hated what I saw in the mirror. And I was like, do you know what? Let's just do it. Me and my friend did it at the same time because we were both unhappy. And we thought, do you know, if we're doing it together, a bit of like moral support all the time. You know, you're doing it alongside somebody else. It helps keep the motivation going because, as we all know, losing weight is very difficult. It's more mentally as opposed to physically. We all know what we need to do. It's getting in the right mental frame to do it. So back in May 2020, I did it for a year, from May 2020 to May 2021. I'd lost 6 stone and I had basically simply cut out bread, potato, pasta, rice, and I was counting calories. Because back in those days, I thought counting calories was the thing. Wasn't nutritionally aware of, you know, what's good and what's not. I didn't know the information that I knew now. So I did that. I lost 6 stone. Fantastic. I then got to the end of like that year and I'd met somebody. I'd stopped trying as much. A couple of months later, I then fell pregnant. I then put on a couple of stone, as you do in pregnancies. So that's that. Moving along, let's see. Again, this was kind of in 2021. In my work uniform, you get kind of like a rough guide of, you know, what I look like then to kind of like a year later-ish. And again, 248 pounds, still, you know, heavy. I was very high protein, low carb, same as, you know, when I was starting it in May 2020, the only things I cut out was potato, pasta, bread, rice. I would do like an alternative. I would use, like oat flour. I'd still use porridge oats. I would use like almond flour to kind of keep it lower carb. I used to make, these yogurt flatbreads, which was just flour and yogurt. Fantastic. It was like my bread alternative. It was great. I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything. It was easy to diet. I lost a lot of weight in that time. My body composition didn't change as much as I thought it would have. Obviously, I looked a lot smaller. Like when you lose 6 stone, it is massive. But because I was really big to start with, to me, it didn't look a lot. I had to do these comparison pictures in order for me to see a difference, because if I was just looking at myself in the mirror, I wouldn't see it. I would still see the 150 kilo, that 300 pound person staring back at me. And I still do now, to be honest. So I had to make comparison pictures all the time. And it's not when you do that, when you see it, you see the difference when you wear the same outfit and you're side by side. So my obviously stomach got smaller, but I wasn't having any kind of like muscle definition or anything like that. Considering I'd lost, 6 stone, I was still gymming. I wasn't doing full on weight training because at the time I didn't really know what I was doing. So I was doing half cardio, some squats, some leg extensions, I think that was kind of it really. I didn't really know what I was doing in the gym. I was using my uncle's home gym at the time, which was fantastic. He then had some cardio machines in there. So again, I would do like a little rotation, about 3-4 times a week, sometimes 2. I have young kids, so it's all a bit, you got to do it when you can. And because I was going to somebody else's house and doing it in their gym, again, I, would fit around them, fit around my life. Moving swiftly on. So as you can see, if you was to put this one next to the first one, you can see in that 3 years, that's over 100 pounds. No, that is 100 pounds. I was 7 months carnivore. You can see, the slimness, the frame is changing, like the silhouette is changing. So around this time, when I started carnivore, let's go back, rambling a little bit. Not very good at this, you've got to bear with. When I started carnivore July 2022, yes, a couple of months after I had my youngest, I said to Jonathan, do you know what? I want to get back, now that I'm cleared from the C-section and I can do weights again, I want to get back into the gym. I want to, get back to losing weight. I was on a journey before I fell pregnant. I want to get back to it. I'm not happy, don't like it. I want to change it. So I started carnivore. My macros were quite high protein, about moderate fat. So it was about 160 protein to about 100, 120 fat. And it was less than 20, 30 grams of carbs. The only carbs I was getting was from like eggs. Some of the meats had like little bit of sauces on that you just can't help. Those kind of things. No like physical carbs. And I kind of stuck from that from July until about January. And then I'd kind of switched it up a bit. I dropped the protein a little bit from about 20, upped the fat by about 10, just to kind of find a happy balance. In those first 7 months, I had actually started intermittent fasting, where I would only eat from like 12 o'clock lunchtime until 8 p.m. and then that would be it. I'd probably have about 2 meals in that time, and again it would be those macros. It was good. I didn't train very well on it because I used to train in the morning because that's what suits with the kiddies. I'd go straight from school run straight to the gym, work out and then come back. Training fasted, it didn't work for me. I felt like my strength wasn't there. I felt like I could do better, but I didn't have the energy, the oomph to kind of get more out of it. So I then stopped intermittent fasting, and I then had, my breakfast, lunch and dinner. Still the same macros, still did it, and that worked out great. I was able to progress in the gym, whether it be reps or weight, something was changing, which was fantastic. I'm still learning gym stuff. It's only been like a year that I've done it properly, because I then obviously met Jonathan. He had told me kind of what to do in the gym. He used to do my workout plan at the beginning, and then now that I've learned about it, I do my own workout plan. I mix it up a lot. I don't want to get bored. So I think if I mix up my workout routine, it's always something exciting, something new. I like to try different things because you never know if it might then work. Sometimes I just don't have time. I have like 20 minutes. So I have to then do something in that time because, as we know, something is better than nothing. So yeah, moving swiftly on, let's see. So again, when I started, no, this was me recently, I'm reading the year wrong. So 219 pounds, a year into carnivore. You could see the smile on my face. The smile kind of progresses because I'm starting to like what I see. And in the year carnivore, I've lost 23 kilos, which I think I did write it down. I think it's about 48 pounds, which averages out just under £1 a week, which is fantastic. When you put it into those kind of perspectives, it's fantastic. But I feel like I've been saying I've lost like 23 kilos for the last months because I just kind of plateaued. And it's weird because in those 23 kilos, I think that's just over 3 stone. So it's less than what I did in the first year in 2020. I've noticed so much more muscle definition this time in this year doing carnivore than I did cutting out those 4 carbs in 2020. Even though I lost more weight, there's definitely more noticeability. Like, that's not even a word. It's more noticeable. There's more muscle definition. Like I'm still learning all these techie terms, but I'm starting to get, the line here. Obviously, I've still got a bit of the jiggle. That's gonna be there a while. Starting to get a little bit more like a line in the abs, the quads, slowly coming in. I mean, I've got a lot more fat to lose in order to see it more, but it's slowly getting there. And it's just the way my mind has now changed in this doing carnivore, and obviously learning the whole, you don't need this, you don't need that. I understand that some people, because you don't know the nutrition. I was the exact same. I didn't know that our bodies didn't need carbohydrates. I didn't know that our body could literally run on protein and fat. I'm going with what they told us about that little pyramid. And that's what I, led to believe. I still have it occasionally. Like I said, I'm not strict carnivore. I have the odd things here and there, the odd non-carnivore stuff. I go to family gatherings and sometimes it's just really not doable. And if I don't want to fast, if my body's telling me don't fast, I'm hungry, I'll eat something. So I just try and pick better options. I'm learning what's better, what's not. So yeah, it's been an eye-opener. I do feel though, and this is nothing to do with carnivore, but I do feel because it's not restrictive in a way, it's how your mind works. It partly my fault. I could have been a lot stricter and I haven't been strict this year. It's probably weekly that I've had something non-carnivore, whether it's, something tiny, whether it's like a massive meal, which explains my fluctuations from the beginning of the year. My mind just hasn't been in it. I think I got to the point where I fluctuated for 2 months. And it got to me and it was like I was seeing that same kilo just moving up and moving down, and it was frustrating, like no tomorrow, as we all know. And I think that just stuck in my mind that it was like a constant battle. And being obviously the size that I used to be, my comfort was food. I used to binge eat a fair bit, obviously think nothing of it, and then restrict the next day, which obviously we know is not healthy. And I'd be, I'd see the scales fluctuating so much and it'd get me down, it'd mentally get me down, and I'd have like a biscuit here and there, or I'd nick a couple of the kids' crisps or bite a bit of their sandwich or something, which, yes, I know shouldn't do, doesn't help, which, explains a continuation of that fluctuation. But when you get into that mindset of you're stuck, it's so hard to get yourself out of that mindset, and it's such a mental battle, especially when the scales don't do what you want them to do. Because there'll be times where I wouldn't really eat off plan. Maybe like the one time, like one biscuit, but that's not going to affect the scale. Do you know what I mean? And something still wouldn't budge. And it's then those times where I'm like, but that doesn't warrant it. I mean, I weigh daily because, like Jonathan explained, you see fluctuations in daily. If I was to weigh once a week and see that I've been, really, really good all week, and then the scale go up on the weigh-in day, I'd think, really? I've been so good. What's the point? But then when you weigh daily, you see, oh, okay, well, actually, I drank late that night, or I ate late that night, or I had a heavier salted meal that night. All those little things factor into the scale. And it has really helped me weigh daily to an extent. I think kind of when I had my fluctuations, I was getting really obsessed with the scale to the point that I would weigh in the evening to see what I was, knowing that I tend to drop about 1 kilo overnight, providing I can sleep all night, which with kids doesn't always work. And I did get to the point where if I could see that scale was at a certain number and I knew, well, 1 kilo less than that, I'm going to be either the same or more than what I was this morning without a warranted reason. Ashamed to say, I would then make myself sick. Even I'd eaten full carnivore, nothing off plan, nothing naughty, as they say. I would still do it because I'd see the scales gone up, and it's like, no, that needs to go down. And I'm working on that, and I'm battling through that, and dealing with that, trying to stop, because it's not healthy at all. And I don't know whether that, because it's so not strict carnivore, but do you know what I mean? It's so you can have 5 things and that's basically it. Going out and about is very difficult. I work in the ambulance, so if I'm not back at base to have my lunch, I have to have it out. And some things I can't eat like the burgers cold or anything like that. I can't do that. I know a lot of people can. Jonathan can. He can, he'll eat scrambled egg on the way home or something. I just can't do that. Not for me. So then I'm limited at what I can have being out on the road at work. So then you're stuck going to a shop, and then, as we know, it's very expensive. Nowadays, everything's gone up. But even to just buy like boiled eggs to be able to have and some meat to have, it's so much more expensive than simply a meal deal. But obviously the meal deal, it's convenient, that's why, but it's not appropriate food. So it's those little things get tough. And just socially, when you're out and about, I feel the need to socially please. So if we're out with friends and obviously they don't eat how I eat, I would say, well, no, you pick where you want. It's not a problem. Going off plan one day isn't going to harm things. It's not a problem. It's then getting back into it. And my struggle is getting back into it. Like we've said, losing weight is massive on the mind. It really is a mental thing, because I know exactly what I need to do. It's getting out of the mind frame, and it's getting into that mindset to be like, let's do this. And although I've seen the difference of, well, look at what you've done in 3 stone, let's do some more. It's still getting into that mindset of let's get back on it. Let's get back into the routine. Even just like missing gym sessions. I have a home gym now, which is fantastic. So I can literally do that whenever. But sometimes, errands need to be done. If the youngest doesn't go to bed, if I don't have anybody in the house to then keep an eye on her, I can't have her outside with me because I can't concentrate on the gym and pay attention to what she's doing. She's 14 months, she's on the move. Doesn't work. So then I have to miss a gym session, or I have to just take a pair of dumbbells and do it inside. Where it's easier, she's got loads of toys to play with. It's safer for her to be crawling around while I'm working out. But obviously, the dumbbell workout isn't the same as my Smith machine workout. So I then feel like I've not really done it. I then beat myself up about it. It's then hard to get back into the routine of doing it. And it seems to be that obviously my gym sessions are the one that's going to get sacrificed. But we live and learn. We get through it. We continue. Moving on. So, pros and cons. The pros is obviously it's the healthiest diet. It's the proper human diet, species appropriate. It is fantastic. And like I've said, I've seen so much more difference in the just over 3 stone and that 48 pounds in that 1 year than I did when I lost that 6 stone back in 2020. And it is all to do with the food. It's, for some people, and it seems for me, it's a massive struggle when you're telling yourself you can only have, 5 things. And yes, we don't need anything else. But when it's everywhere and it's, just constantly in your face all the time, it is then difficult to go, no, I don't need that. When those things are a lot quicker and simpler and just grab and go kind of thing. It's my energy has improved massively. Even to the point of, like I said, I've got young kids. If I'm up in the night, like I was last night, I was up every 2 hours with the youngest. I don't think I look too bad considering I've had a broken sleep. I've got a red light on me, which is what the red is on the cheeks. But I don't think I look too bad. And that is definitely to do with the diet. 100% to do with the diet. The only supplement I take is taurine. And as we know that we love a bit of taurine, it regulates everything internally. I have a scoop a day, maybe 2 scoops. That helps as well. I do notice a difference when I don't have taurine and when I do. If I'm not home, I don't add it to my second drink. I don't always take it out with me because it's another thing to carry. I don't drink too late, so then I won't then have it when I get back. So yeah, I think the cons is only really, it's restrictive. And I think I've always battled with food, and I've always battled with how I look and how I see food. So I think in my mindset, it's quite restrictive, hence why I've kind of deviated here and there, because I think at the beginning I would do it, I would still see results. The scale would go down. So I think, well, I'm still getting results. I can keep it in kind of thing. But I think this year I'm going to be a lot stricter. There will be times where I obviously can't stick to it, social gatherings and stuff like that. Not a problem. They're the times that I'm not going to beat myself up. But when I'm at home or I'm just doing errands and I can, then I am going to try so much harder to be strict to carnivore compared to what I was this year. And I'm hoping then by the end of this year, I'd have gotten out of my bloody plateau, because that's irritating, and get closer to my goal. So I want to aim to lose half of what my old body weight was. So I was 150 kilos. I want to get down to 75. Then I want to see how I feel. Because I swear I've got body dysmorphia. I look in the mirror and I still see that very first picture that you saw. I still see that. And it can then be tricky when you're going for like clothes shopping. I don't know what it's like for you men, but for us women, it's a pain in the ass. You'll go to one shop and you'll try on one size. You go to another shop and try on the exact same size. It doesn't fit. That doesn't help. I mean, to be fair, I don't really buy clothes because I don't like spending money. I'd rather just go in oversized stuff for now till I've lost a bit more and then, do a big old shop. But the clothes make a difference, because I've noticed when I wear those oversized pump covers, because I don't like things clinging to me, I do notice that I feel bigger because the clothes are too big for me. When I wear, like you saw with the yellow t-shirt, it was a bit more fitting. I feel better because I feel like I look slimmer, I look better. You can see the difference. I haven't lost all this weight to look the exact same. I haven't lost, 110 pounds total in 3 years to still look just as big. I'm still not the type to wear those, figure hugging, skin tight. Can't do that. Still got too many lumps and bumps for my liking to do that. But it's the way I'm viewing myself is changing. It's massively changing. And I think the outlook I have, like I said, on the relationship of food, what I'm eating, how much I'm eating, the diet is definitely playing a part in that. And I think because I've noticed more of a difference in this year carnivore than I did the other year, like body composition wise. And that's where I've gone down the most in clothes sizes, which still baffles me, the fact of it's like half the weight of the very first time, but makes no sense to me. I'm no scientist. I'm rambling now. I forgot what I was getting to because I'm getting nervous being in front of the camera by myself. So I think that probably wraps up my little ramblings for my carnivore journey. This is my journey. It's no reflection on anybody else. It's no reflection on the diet. It's my kind of, the way I've mentally dealt with it. Got myself into like that little plateau rut, trying to get myself out by myself because I'm a strong, independent woman. It's tough. People don't talk about the mental side of losing weight. They just think, just eat less, move more, bosh, simple. It's not, because when you've spent so long eating in a certain way, thinking in a certain way, behaving in a certain way, you have to change all that. Like before I started in 2020, I'm all over the place here, sorry. Bear with, keep up. I would do the yo-yo diets, you'd be looking for the quick fix, the diet pills, the diet shakes, the slimming world, that kind of thing. I'd lose weight, I'd put it on. I'd lose weight, I'd put it on. Because I wasn't mentally ready. And something clicked in 2020 to be like, bitch, just do it. Like, come on. And I think since then, obviously, I've done it. It's fantastic. I now need to channel that inner, bitch, let's do this, and smash out this next carnivore year stricter. But yeah, any other questions, feel free to kind of pop them in the comments. Other than that, enjoy this rambling of just me for a change. And I'm sure I'll see you again soon. Thank you very much for watching.